Welcome to Here's My Thing. I'm your host, Frankie Salazar. And Nicki Minaj is coming out swinging, okay? And she's not just swinging at just anybody. No. She is swinging at none other than Jay-Z, okay? Now, Nicki is kind of in her, I'm just going to throw stones and beef with everybody era, because not only is she beefing with Jay-Z right now, she's also beefing with the CEOs of Jay-Z's company, SZA, the CEOs and some of the founders of the companies that are associated with SZA as well. And today's episode, we're just going to be covering what's going on with her and Jay-Z right now because it's absolute madness. And then in the next episode or the next coming episodes, we're going to get into the Nicki and SZA madness. But all I have to say right now is that Nicki is not playing with Jay-Z's parrotfish looking ass, okay? And let me tell you why. So the other day, Nicki takes to Twitter, or X, or what's formerly known as Twitter, right? And she publicly calls him out, saying that she's estimating that he owes her anywhere in the ballpark of an astounding $100 to $200 million. And then with that money that she's alleging that Jay-Z owes her, and then if and when he was supposed to pay her or whatever, she said that she was going to send some barbs to college for her hashtag student of the game charity. Okay? Now, for those of you who know Nicki Minaj, this wouldn't be out of character for her. She's actually helped quite a few barbs long time ago. All she asked was that you had A's and B's or a certain GPA and you were like in your last year or whatever, and she actually did pay for some barb student loans. So that's not totally out of character. But what happened was the controversy allegedly started when Nicki said that she was offered only $1 million. Now, to us, that's a huge number. But to somebody like Nicki, where you're worth north of $200 million, when you're offered only $1 million buyout after the private sale of a company, okay? Because Jay-Z is the owner and bought majority ownership in a company called Tidal, which was supposed to rival streaming services like Apple and Spotify. And lo and behold, that shit flopped. But other artists, huge artists that everybody knows, like Rihanna, Beyonce, Usher, Kanye, all of them were given a 3% stake in Jay-Z's company, right? Jay-Z's company Tidal. Now, Jay-Z, not too long ago, ends up selling the company. He owned 80% stake. So he was majority owner in that company to Square, the company Square, founded by Jack Dorsey. Okay, so he gets into cahoots with Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey buys Tidal from him for a whopping $297 million. Now, this left all of the artists that I just mentioned a minute ago, like Rihanna and Beyonce and all of them, entitled to a payment of at least $9 million, right? Because 3% of 300 million, or almost 300 million, would be $9 million. Now, I don't understand where Nicki's getting this whole 100 million, 200 million thing when the company only sold for 297 million, but I digress. Run the queen her motherfucking funds. But there's theories, implying that Nicki actually never even signed the papers. It's very weird, but that still remains unclear. But I believe her. Because guys, if there's one thing about me, you guys already know this. I don't even know why I have to keep mentioning this to you guys, okay? If there's one thing about me, Nicki Minaj is not wrong, okay? She could walk up to me and say the sky is pink. And do you think I'm going to fight with the motherfucker? Please. Anyway, you guys, anyway. So, no matter what the sum is, okay, at the end of the day, Nicki is entitled to at the very least $9 million. And it's unclear because she's alleging that she was only given a $1 million buyout. Now, my question is, as far as I know, Nicki's the only one that is taking this publicly and taking it so offensively, for lack of a better term. I don't know, because I named all of those other A-listers, and as far as I know from the research that I could see, none of them have called him out either to the same degree or at all. But then again, if they are all entitled to their $9 million, that you would think that this is borderline a class action lawsuit type deal. And if she was only offered a $1 million buyout for what she was entitled to and she invested and was given ownership in that streaming company that flopped, then yeah, run her funds. But not only that. Here's the other deal. She took another dig at him, okay? Because in her eyes, Jay-Z was punishing Lil Wayne. And what I mean by that is she's alleging that for the 2025 Super Bowl, we all know that Kendrick and SZA had headlined for it. Nicki feels a type of way about Kendrick and SZA to begin with, okay? There are people that allege that Kendrick steals some of Nicki Minaj's flows and or words, and she's also currently in a huge beef with SZA, so irregardless of the Super Bowl whatever, she's not too fond of them anyway. But get this, the reason that she thinks that Lil Wayne was sabotaged or being quote-unquote punished, in her words, was because Jay-Z holds the power to who performs at the Super Bowl halftime shows. I don't know if you guys knew that. But yes, Roc Nation, which is Jay-Z's company, he owns that company, is the NFL's, quote, live music strategist. Meaning, in other words, he pretty much has like the final say. So, like, he doesn't really have the final say. So like the NFL could do whatever they want. But when you're talking about a live music specialist, okay, we're talking about the halftime show, the live show, when his company, Jay-Z's company, is the one that's in charge of all that, it's kind of not hard to believe that Jay-Z may or may not have had something to do with the offering or giving away of the halftime show to Kendrick Lamar when Lil Wayne was tapped multiple times. Now, Nicki has done this before years ago, over a decade ago. So she has no personal, she doesn't really have a dog in this fight. But if anybody knows where Nicki Minaj's allegiance lies, it's with Lil Wayne. Okay, because Lil Wayne was the one that put her on the map. She was the one that got her out of the hood. He was the one that really acknowledged and morphed Nicki into the woman that she is today. So she will never, ever, I will die on this hill. She will never turn her back on that man. But the reason we know that Nicki took a dig at him is because she did a song called Banned From No with Lil Wayne, of course, Tunchi. And in that, she says, French vanilla hazelnut in my Starbucks. NFL fire some dudes and then call us. Now, she wasn't naming names, but we can go ahead and take a guess as to what she was talking about. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if she already has issues with Kendrick and SZA, and she mentions the NFL in her song, Jay-Z owes her all of this money. Jay-Z's parent company, Roc Nation, who is the live music strategist for the NFL's halftime show, it's not hard to believe that Jay-Z is playing the game here. And he is not particularly friendly with Nicki Minaj. Now, the problem is, when Nicki Minaj isn't friendly with you, I'm not friendly with you. If you're not a friend with Nicki Minaj, okay. like, I've already said it a million times, guys, and I'm going to say it a million times more. If you don't like Nicki Minaj, bye! Like, you could leave. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you could leave. I'm not asking for your viewership. I'm not asking for your friendship. I would like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not somebody that particularly wants to be nasty to people and whatever. But you tell me, with everything that I just presented to you today, okay, here's my thing. If what Nicki is alleging is true, that she had 3% of that company, and it sells for nearly $300 million, no matter which way you slice it, she's entitled to, at the bare minimum, $9 million. Now, I think she's tripping a little bit on the 9-digit figure. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know where she's getting $100 or $200 million, but if her name is on that contract, she's entitled to at least $9 million. And obviously, she's able to feel a type of way for being snubbed, one of her closest friends in the game being snubbed for the NFL's halftime show, because Jay-Z literally plays a direct part in that. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's just to go ahead and give you guys a brief summary of what's been going on between her and Jay-Z. I know it gets a lot deeper because she also calls out the CEO of his companies because, her own daughter, the CEO's daughter, is actually suing her own mother for, alleging that she's also entitled to some funds and some ownership and other things like that. So we could go down the whole rabbit hole on this. But I just wanted to get this video out very quickly to just kind of summarize what's going on because it's a hot topic. Shout out to Wendy Williams. But at the end of the day, this has been Here's My Thing, starring Frankie Salazar. As always, I would love to hear your thing. Do you think that everything I presented to you, that Nicki is entitled to at the very least her $9 million? Do you think that Jay-Z may have snubbed them on purpose and used those two artists as a dig at Tunechi and Nicki? I don't know. You tell me. But, like I said, I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.